Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the February energy report for the month ahead. This month, we're going to be talking about the High Priestess and the Wheel of Fortune, number 2 in the tarot and number 10 in the tarot. If you recall, the Wheel of Fortune is also the energy of October, so you may see some echoes of whatever was happening in your life in October. Hey, cycles. Hey, full circle. Hey, Wheel of Fortune. The High Priestess this month is offering us this beautiful opportunity to develop and grow and expand into the present moment. So a lot of conversations in alchemy and in tarot and numerology have to do with these planes of growth. There's the vertical, which is what the magician energy of January offered us, which is the calling down of the energy, the as above, so below. The High Priestess is a very different kind of intelligence and a very different kind of power. Do not mistake the power that she brings to the world. She brings it in the current moment, in the present moment. She is this infinite unfurling into what is, the idea that there is so much happening in every moment. And her message for all of us this month was twofold. One, there was this kind of like call and response. You have been calling, especially in January, this idea of power and wisdom, right? There's so much about calling forth clarity, calling forth intention. The High Priestess in February wants you to listen for the response, wants you to hear the universe come meet you where you are. There was this invitation for exploring color and art in your world. How are you invoking all of the power of beauty, the power of adornment, the power of the feminine mysteries? And more importantly, where are you making it harder, baby? Where are you making it harder? The High Priestess is like, cut it out, dude. For some of you, you may be in a moment of deep struggle. You may be in a moment of deep heartbreak. And my heart is with you. The High Priestess is with you. The world is with you. In those moments, we open our awareness to what is working. We open our awareness to the truth of the depth of our feeling and the idea that that's not all there is. We let the world hold us and support us in those moments. For the rest of us, if it's not hard, where are you making it hard? If life is beautiful, if life is humming, if there is some harmony, some peace in your world, where are you fully allowing that versus where are you kind of cutting yourself off at the pass? Life will be difficult. We will all find ourselves in those challenging moments if we're not there now. When we're not, we can think about how we could just enjoy it. How could this current moment get a little sexier? How could it be a little easier? How could it be a little more fun? And as the High Priestess is trying to remind us, where could it be more colorful? Where could you open your eyes to more of what's happening in this moment and soak it all in? High Priestess is lunar energy. It can feel a little passive, but dude, it's some of the most powerful energy there is. What she's trying to reveal to us is that there's so much available in this present moment. How deeply, how truly, how fully can you be here? Let the world come to you as you open your cosmic ears to hear the universe responding to the call of your heart. It's beautiful energy, and the Wheel of Fortune is here to say life is going to keep lifing. Circumstances are going to be shifting. Different lanes and alleys and trajectories are going to be forming and reforming. And the High Priestess says, trust life, trust the universe, trust the call of your heart. If you stay here right now, what might develop? What might become of this moment? Sending you so much love. I hope you enjoy what you hear in the following podcast. And if nothing else, bring some more color, bring some more ease, bring some more play to your life this month. The High Priestess is inviting you into this magical, mystical world that you are so lucky to be a part of. Check you later. Hello, everybody. What's happening? Fam, how are you? It is February. It is February, and it feels different, and I'm excited to be here with you guys. I love the two cards we're going to talk about today. Hey, newsflash, I love all the tarot cards, but I love these two cards in particular, and I love the way they feel together. And when I pulled the supporting energy, it just kept blossoming like this beautiful flower, even this garden, this vine. It's like, whoa, 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 just more and more color, more and more energy, more and more support, more and more, like deep sacred protection of your vitality, of your action, of your color, of your art, of your life kept coming through. And it was just lovely. It was lovely to feel into, lovely to be part of. I'm excited. Let's see what February brings. January was its own adventure, its own meditation. I would imagine for a lot of us, things changed in January, and maybe in surprising ways. The combination of the Magician and the Hermit was interesting because the Magician is such an active outward solar energy, and the Hermit is such a lunar, internal, quiet, reflective energy. And so those two things coming together, you might have witnessed a really interesting dance between your knowing, your wisdom, and your power, and where those two things were in harmony and where those two things were kept from each other. It's not like you had less or you were unable to access your wisdom and your power, but sometimes our habits, our nervous system, our history builds a way of behaving, a way of moving, where those two things have gotten away from each other. And a lot of the energy in January was a recognition of what has been neglected in your life, what has been, and not in any kind of, purposeful way, just in terms of life. Life asks a lot of us, and we have to attend to what we have to attend to. And sometimes we come to these resting places, these open places, these moments of pause where we look around and say, okay, I've got this going. This is working for me. What else? What else? We are such restless souls in the best way. It's like that idea of you sit in your life and you might feel some dissatisfaction, but if you were to zoom out and notice just how far you've come, notice the path you've walked, notice what you've survived, you would feel the present day so differently. So much of mindfulness, so much of awareness work has to do with keeping yourself both in this exact moment, this breath, not wandering from that. At the same time, having a larger perspective that this breath is just one moment and it will pass, for better or for worse. And wherever you find yourself today, there's a version of you that wanted this so badly, that worked so hard for this on some dimension. You really built a life based on the choices you've made, based on your reactions to this vast, wild, chaotic universe and the way that it's encountered you and the way that you've encountered it and the way that it's worked its energy on you and the way that you've worked your energy back. There's a recognition at the end of the major arcana that the wheel turns. We're going to talk about the Wheel of Fortune today. The wheel turns and I witness it and I'm like, oh, look, fate, look. The world changing, look, circumstance. And when you get to the world, the Wheel of Fortune is kind of halfway in the major arcana and the world is the end. And at the world, you look back and you're like, I was turning the wheel the whole time. I was the divine. I was a part of source energy, speaking to myself, co-creating with myself. And so it's like very paradoxical, very kind of like trippy feeling of I am the one who the universe is dancing with, and I am also the dance partner. Like I am also the one who comes with the music. There's like so many layers to that. Hopefully in January you had a little bit more access to the fullness of yourself from a power standpoint, from a wisdom standpoint, noticing where you've wielded your power and what is true for you now, what the wisest parts of you say about where your energy should be now. And I'm curious about that, right? Because that could be really obvious. It can be like, oh, I should be, paying more attention to my home, or I should be paying more attention to my friendships. But sometimes it's a little less obvious. And sometimes it goes counter narrative to what we're told we should be doing. And so do you trust yourself? Who are your teachers? Who are you trusting to guide you? Whose wisdom are you listening to? Whose wisdom are you motivated by? And in particular, what is the wisest part of you? What is that open space in your center that you can turn to where all the answers reside? How connected are you to that? How easy is it for you to access that? How much do you trust that? You can call it intuition. You can call it a higher power. You can call it so many things. Internally, in this vast, wild universe that is you, there's a place where all is revealed. How easily do you access that? I imagine that came up for you in January. I imagine you had some interaction with yourself that possibly contradicted what the world was telling you. And how did you navigate that? All that happened in January. I hope it was a blessed time for you. I hope you came out of that month feeling a little more brave, a little more sure of yourself, sure of your steps, sure of the path you've walked to arrive here today. February 1st. February is always High Priestess energy, so it's so beautiful. Just I don't know, there's so much happening in every moment, but it's so beautiful to think of January kind of launching in with this sun energy, this solar magician. I am the whole universe in form, and I can draw down from the heavens anything I wish for, anything I want to create, anything I ache to manifest. And then we follow that with the High Priestess, which is such pure lunar energy. It is feminine power, it is the ebb and flow, it is the gathering and the giving away. And the High Priestess is such a beautiful energy. It used to be called, like in the first decks, it was the Papess, the female pope, the female energy of the church. There's so much you could say about the High Priestess. I mean, all these cards are rich, but if you're interested in spirituality and religion, the role of the goddess, the role of the mystic, the role of feminine energy in religion is just endlessly fascinating, and there's so much you could talk about. But what I'll say today is that there's something important about the High Priestess in terms of quietness, of darkness, passivity. And again, passivity is not letting the world happen. Passivity is knowing when to retreat, when to turn inwards, when to be still, like when to be still. And that has to do with your meditative practice. It also has to do with the pause, right? That ma we've talked about, that beat between notes. The magician is such a note. It's such a loud ringing note. Hey, I'm here. And there's this bell that you rung in January, whether you realize it or not, this shift, this activation that happened. February calls on you to let it integrate. Let it come home, let it gestate, let it do its thing, right? The magician calls for the spark. Let the spark light, let it get air, let it get a moment. I say this all the time, but one of the things that happens when I do work with people privately, especially, is there can be this impatience, this like, oh, because you can do so much cool stuff in such a short time, right? The therapeutic model is broken in a lot of ways. And when you first access the energetic model of healing, you can have this sense of like, oh shit, there's so much I want to do. And that's amazing. And yet, the real work happens in the pause. The real work happens in the integration. It's like you shake up the energy, you make the shifts, you do the work, you activate all this stuff, you call down from the heavens, the yapa, the lightning, the magician's song, and then it comes. And you give it a minute, dude. Give it a minute. It takes time in this material realm for things to shift, for the body to meet you in this new place, for the timelines to shift, the quantum leaping idea of you give yourself a minute to arrive on the new timeline, to arrive in the new body. Give your body a minute to take in the energy. And I love Maureen, who I know you guys know, who does family constellations work, who I just admire her work so deeply. She was the first healer to really say this to me when I did a family constellations session with her. And she said, don't talk about this for 2 weeks. Like, just let this land in your body for 2 weeks. And I had never really heard anyone say it that way. It really resonated with me, and it's something that I pass on to the people that I work with now. Like, it's not about keeping silent about it. It's not about not sharing it. It's not about not processing it, but it is about letting it do its own work, like a seed that gets dropped into your field, and just let it find its soil, let it find its way, let it sink into the beautiful garden that you are. That is High Priestess energy. So it's this moment of opening myself to all the power, all the light that I seek, and then letting the light come. There's so much richness in the letting it come, in the passivity, in the opening to the energy, in the allowing of what is trying to find its way to come home. The High Priestess always speaks to moon energy, and it's like one of those things, like we take for granted that our cycles, us women, and most of us listening to this podcast are women, and hey, to the men, I love you for being here with us. I love you for being here with the tarot. And I would say this speaks to your feminine soul as well. There's a part of your spirit, your soul, that is tracking the moon. It may or may not feel far away. It may feel like something you can access, but it's there. And for women, it's reflected in our bodies, right? For feminine beings, it's reflected in our bodies. I want you just to think about the miraculous nature of the fact that your menstrual cycle is moving in sync with the moon. Like, we say that and you read that on Instagram and like, oh yeah, your moon cycle. Fucking your moon cycle. The energy that moves the sun and the earth and the moon, the light that's reflected there, the ebbing and the flowing that we watch in the sky, in the magnificent sky every month, is echoed in your womb. Like, it's echoed in your womb space. What? Do you doubt the magic of the universe when you really realize that? I know we talk a lot about the menstrual cycle, and people will talk about, syncing up your work days and syncing up your energy and what you're here to do, and like working with the ebb and flow of your moon cycle. And it's so important. But I want you to think more grandly about that. In any way that you feel disempowered by your moon cycle, I want to offer you that it's so not the case. And one of the things I love about the idea of menopause, of entering this kind of perimenopausal phase in a woman's life, is you really get to confront what is the moon cycle? What does it offer you? And in our culture, we don't talk about it in a beautiful way. We talk about it in kind of this like used up way, which is so much linked to the patriarchy and so much linked up to a misunderstanding of a woman's power. Your menstrual blood is monthly physical demonstration of your magic, of your power, of your ability to create, your ability to create life, but even more importantly, to create magic, to shake the world, to seed your power onto the earth, and with the earth create something new. And you can see that in magic work, you can see that in pregnancy, you can see that in so many beliefs, good and bad, about the power of menstrual blood. And I want you to imagine that every month as the moon waxes, you're gaining power, you're holding, it is this image of the chalice or the sacred vessel that fills itself with power. And what we say, what a lot of the ancient teachings talk to about the menstrual cycle, is that you decide while you are a menstruating woman to seed that power out into the community. It's part of your act of service. I have this incredibly valuable essence, strength, material expression of power, and I give it back to the community every month. I serve the family with it. I create children with it. I serve those children. I serve that family. I am handing my power, rolling my power, kneading my power back into the community every time I bleed. What they say about perimenopause, about the menopausal cycle, is that at that point the woman has given enough. She's given enough to the community, and now it is her turn. And so the belief there is that instead of bleeding, we retain the power. We hold the power in our bodies. That is the place of the wise woman. That is the place of the medicine woman. And that is the place of the leader. And until a woman can soak in her own power month after month, so it's not that she's dried up. It's not that there's nothing left to give. It's that it's her turn now, and she can hold that power. She can soak herself in that month after month. That is the place where she becomes her most powerful self. She's literally infusing her body with her own magic month after month instead of handing it out to the community. It's a very different way of thinking about menopause, right? It's a very different way of thinking about the power of our monthly blood. The High Priestess brings all of this into the conversation. And what I want to say about the energy that's coming through in February is it's asking you to really recognize this power and to really give it the value it deserves in your life. And what that means for you could be so many things. But what I'll say is that the energies that came out with this card, the other card we're going to talk about today is the Wheel of Fortune. The other energies that came out with these cards were incredibly colorful. Like, that is the best single descriptor I can use for these cards. So there's a lot of messaging here, but it was so rich with color. Like, when I tell you, it was like a blast of color. And I'll put these on probably on Instagram so you can see them. But they just blew me away with the color. And I want you to really think about the creative nature of your feminine power. I want you to think about what lights her up, what speaks to her. And I talk about art, and that can sound like I want you to get your watercolors out, and that's great. Please do. I'm going to do a collage challenge in February called Februlage. If anyone wants to hear more about it, text me. I love it. My stepmom / soul sister / goddess, Julie, is an incredible artist in Florida, and she's motivating me because everything she touches looks like magic. Everything she touches inspires you to want to do more art, make more art. But when I talk about art, I'm talking about the art of your life. This is something that David Data talks about. This is something that John Wineland and Kendra Kunov taught me when I studied more intensely with them. Your life is art. And I have a woman that I've been working with, and she says that for this year, she wants her life to be, I think, a living poem is the language she used. Yes, yes, yes. To make your life an art, to make art of your life, to look around and say, what could I do to make this space more beautiful? What could I do to make myself feel more vibrant, make my life sing with more of a pure note. Like there's something about this idea of the beauty way and shamanism. It's such a deep spiritual practice. And in modern American culture, we don't really feel that. We don't really encourage that. We don't encourage beauty for beauty's sake. Beauty as an act of devotion. Beauty as a way of saying, God, I see you and I am so grateful to be here. I am so grateful for the grass and the trees and the flowers and the sky and the sun and water and the ocean and rain and my breath and my beautiful limbs and my hands. And we don't celebrate that. And that's so much of what we're being called up to see in this 8 year. This earth, this body, this place, it is a sacred place. It is a sacred place. And it is one of a kind. I know we talk about the multiverse. I know we talk about this vast universe. This is unique. This has its own flavor. How much can you fully explore that? How much can you allow the ebb and flow of your body, whatever level you're doing that on? How much can you allow that to open to the beauty of life, to the beauty of your life? How much devotion can you offer the beauty of your life, the color, the vitality of this life you're living? Don't let it get dull. And that is the message for February. Some part of you works very hard. And what I will say to you is that life is hard. We've covered this, right? 2023. If we didn't know it before then, we sure know it now. Life is hard and it will devastate you. And that is the truth. There will be days and weeks and moments and hours where you are on your knees, where you are devastated by what life has brought to your door. You are devastated by the way the universe has moved in this moment. Most of the time, it's not like that. And yet we're waiting for that so much of the times. How are you making it more difficult? Life is hard, yes. How are you making it harder? What messages are you sending your way? What things are you allowing to get dull? Where are you ignoring what you need? Where are you making this harder than it needs to be? February is this great call to sit still in the most beautiful, passive, soft way and let the ebb and flow of life sway you. And it's calling for this kind of the dark, mysterious goddess power of color and art and dance, beauty and decoration and adornment. That is calling out, because what that says to you is, yes, life is hard. Yes, the universe is vast and strange. Yes, I will suffer. And yet, do I need to suffer more? Do I need to make it harder? Could I do something in this moment to make it a little more beautiful, a little more bright, a little more peaceful? Kendra used to say that all the time when we would start our big calls. She would say, look at your space. How can you make it more sacred? Can you light a candle? Can you light incense? Can you have music playing? Can you put on a piece of clothing that makes you feel beautiful? Can you plant your feet for a moment and feel the energy of a tree, feel the energy of the earth underneath your feet? If you're in a city, can you look around and see something that inspires you, that lights you up, that makes you laugh? There's so much. There's so much happening in a moment. Are you paying attention? Are you taking it all in? Are you soaking it all in? The high priestess would say, take it in. Allow it to move you. Allow it to speak to you. The Wheel of Fortune is the other card coming up. The February energy is like, be alive with life. Whatever that means to you, whatever has been neglected, whatever feels dull or stuck or stale in your life, bring your art to it, bring your life to it. The Wheel of Fortune's like, because life is turning, the wheel is turning, it is changing. And remember what I said in the beginning, you're turning the wheel. It's been you the whole time. So this higher self, this divine self, this higher power in you, in the world, is moving things along. Like life will change, life will continue to rotate. You will not be here again. You will not be here again. You will not be here again. Sorry, I gotta say it again because you need to hear it. You will not be here again. So how can you be more fully here in a way that feels more fulfilling, more satisfying, more present? Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing. God's protection is with you. The seasons change, the moon changes, your body changes, the world changes, situations change. And like I said, was it last month or the month before? You have no idea. You truly have no idea how someone drops something in a room 1,000 miles away and it changes just the trajectory enough that it shifts another trajectory, and all of a sudden, something fundamental that you believe would never change in your world has shifted. So you just never know how things are realigning themselves. Sometimes that is going to hurt. Sometimes that is going to be hard. And sometimes that is going to be beautiful. It's going to be a blessing. You worked very hard in 2023 to find yourself, to allow this mysterious transformation that you may still not have words for to take over your life. You came into January and you had a sense that there's more. I forgot how powerful I am. I forgot that I have the power, that solar energy that we were really lacking in that 7-year. Kind of woke up in you again. And at the same time, you had the hermit whispering in your ear the wisdom, like reminding you that you are the wise one, reminding you to really trust your intuition in terms of who you're listening to and how you're moving and how you're choosing. So all this solar energy kind of like shot into you. Yappa, lightning, came into you. And now in February, it's like, enjoy it, baby. Enjoy it. Let the world turn. Let the wheels turn. Let the season find its way. Let the seeds settle in the darkness. And you make your magic there. Make your magic there. Make your magic here. Keep all of that beautiful medicine, that power that we've talked about, whatever stage of life you're in. Hold it close. Hold it close and listen to it. Like I said, open up that space of wisdom inside you. Maybe dip down into your own darkness, dip down into your own mystery and say, what would you have me do? What would you have me do? I have a client I was speaking with last week maybe, and she said, I think Elizabeth Gilbert gave her the prompt. When you wake up in the morning, you say, God, source, divine, higher self, nature, love, art. What would you have me do today? How would you use me today? How would you have me move today? Can you do that? Could you actually listen to what they say? Because sometimes it's not obvious. We were in Moon Circle a couple weeks ago, last week, and we were talking about, I don't remember what was the exercise. It was something about, it was that idea of balance I just talked about. And like what was off balance in your life? Where did the balance need to be kind of revivified in your life? And the word that came up for me was beauty. And I understood it. And also I have 1,000 other things to do. And so how can I keep prioritizing that? And like I've said to you a million times before, this also comes from Kendra and I love it, is this idea of gesturing toward. We will never reach the place, a place. We will never land. We are not here to arrive. We are here to be present in this moment. We have already arrived. And so everything we're doing is not about achieving some goal or finding ourselves in this place where we can rest. It's about being present here, resting in the fullness of this moment, which I tell you is infinite. Presence of this moment is something that will continually unfold the more present you get with it. You can't be present and have it ever reach its completion. So not only are you turning over into the next breath, the next moment, the next evolution, but you're also ever expanding outward, ever unfolding, ever unfurling outward into this moment. And there's always more. There's always more to appreciate, always more to feel into, always more to awaken with in this moment. That's the message of the High Priestess. She's not going anywhere, and yet her experience of the moment is infinite. The Wheel of Fortune is going to carry us this month. The wheel will turn in this month. The High Priestess is like, enjoy this moment as much as you can. Allow this moment to become the most fertile place possible. Let the garden bloom in you and around you. And I really mean this. Color, the way that in December there was this energy of kind of light and water that working together, and that was really important on some level. I still don't quite understand it, but I know it had like a really strong energetic signature, a really strong thought form. This idea of colorful has a very powerful ignition or invitation or possibility this month. So I invite you to really look around where in your life is lacking color. Bring your energy there. Like if you scan your life and you think about all the different aspects of it, where is there black and white? And can you invite color into it? And that might mean art. That might mean you start collaging with me and Julie and my daughters. Like maybe that's part of what you're looking for. But it doesn't have to be that. It can be bringing color to your wardrobe. It can be painting your nails. It can be putting up a piece of beautiful fabric in your room to enjoy. Like it can be so simple, right? None of this has to cost us any money. None of this needs to even take more than a minute. It's amazing what you can do with what exists around you. And I'll come back to my man, Rick Rubin, because I love him so much. He talks about this idea of the artist, it's your job to prepare yourself. And he says that you really don't have to make any decisions from that place. When you prepare yourself, the world gives you the answer. And so maybe you take this moment to look up and around where you are and say, universe, show me something beautiful. Show me color. Show me where I need to invoke more color into my life, and let the answer come to you. Again, miraculous, quantum, magical field that we exist in, where every movement, every thought, every feeling is like strumming the plane of existence, like strumming the void where all exists and all can be created into. You're playing those notes all day long, all day long. And so ask the universe, like, where do I need color? Show me how I can have more color in my life. Watch what will happen. It is miraculous. I'll say that the energy of letting the world spin on its axis, really taking your hands off the wheel. Like, your job this month is color. Your job this month is bringing vitality back to the dark places. It might even be working with some of your darkness in a way that feels more playful, more colorful, more enticing. Like, there could be something kind of dark and mysterious and sensual going on for you this month. It's all good. The dark goddess is alive. The dark goddess is real. That power is something that we may have been cut off from. It doesn't mean it went away. And so how can you further root yourself into the truth of your light and vitality as that sparkles with color, but also your dark depths as they sparkle with vitality and color, as the richness, the rich jewel tones of that place? How can you bring more of that into your life as well? The High Priestess is such an internal journey. It is such a cyclical journey, and it is such a beautiful invitation into rest. But what I'll say, the way that it's coming through, is that rest is contingent on your real world. Like, remember the 8 energy, remember the materiality of this year. There's something about that rest being in the fullness of this moment, invoking the color, invoking the sacred quality, and invoking your ability to dance and play with the world around you. Enjoy it. What else? Yeah, there's just an energy of plenty this month, an energy of there's enough. There's enough for you. You are enough. What you've done so far is enough. Let it unravel, unfurl, unfold itself to show you that the universe is listening. Show you that your higher self, love, light, God is listening. And so what you've been seeking, what you've been calling forth, let it reveal itself to you. It's like, yeah, we can do a lot on our own, but the miraculous moments are the moments where we realize someone's listening. We realize that we're not alone, and that we have so much help. We have so much support. There's so much color in this beautiful universe. And there's just so much. I don't care how hard it is. I will tell you that the world is rich with life, rich with color. And so much of our work is to be present with that, even when it's difficult. And especially when it's not difficult. Allow yourself as much ease as possible this month. Allow yourself to feel free and happy with the choices you've made, the things that are working for you. Recognize the part of you that would have done all the crazy magic in the world to get to this place. And here you are. So wherever it's easy, check yourself this month. If you're making it harder, just stop. Just don't. Allow yourself to play. Allow yourself to be bright. Allow yourself to feel the bright vitality of life all around you this month. All right, sending you so much love. I like this energy of February. It feels like something beautiful. It feels like a real call for art in your life, a real call for beauty, and let it light you up. Let it blow you away. Let it blow you away this month. You have only to be. You are enough just as you are, and your medicine is so powerful. Allow yourself to soak in it, and then from that place, share it. All right, love you guys. Happy February. Enjoy this sweet, colorful, bright month of art. Aho. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.